So we're going to be talking about the sun and the moon because they play a very pivotal role within the story of One Piece. So of course, it's your boy Drac. We'll come back here with some more theories and more speculation. So let's go ahead and lock in. So Blackbeard is going to be our representation of the moon. Usopp is going to be a pseudo of this with Luffy. This is Teco. He is the moon god within Aztec mythology. So whenever we look at Blackbeard versus how we see Teco, he's also looking up at the moon, which is a huge indicator of him being the moon god anyway, and how they are posing, they are very similar. Luffy, of course, being our sun god, we already know this. He's also a very big representation of the sun in the first place, which is also a representation of freedom. And this is Nawasim. He is to be the sun god within the fifth sun's creation myth. So now let's go ahead and talk about the fifth sun's creation story. So there were two gods, which was Teco and Nawasim. There were two gods within Aztec mythology in which they were going to be picked to be the new sun god for the fifth sun. And so Teco was chosen first in the fact of he was supposed to jump into the bonfire first and become the sun, but he was scared to do so, and so he backed out. Nawasim, on the other hand, he jumped into the bonfire without no regard. He was just head first and thinking about questions later. After that, Teco jumps in right after Nawasim. But now there's two suns, and that's too much energy for the earth to handle, so the gods had to pick between Nawasim or Teco, but Teco jumped in second. So what they did was they threw a rabbit at Teco's face, turning him into the moon god. What's interesting is, back in Drum Island, that's the first mentioning that we get of Blackbeard, which we also get a mentioning of the Lapins, which those are those huge rabbits that we see on Drum Island. See where I'm going with this? Cool. We always got to talk about the Homoroga scarf because Blackbeard is going to get a mythical Zoan. Where is he going to get it from? This guy. Because Loki has our Goka fruit. Like I said, Homoroga scarves. We see that Luffy and both Yamato, they have white Homoroga scarves, which they are of positive emotions. Whenever we are looking at Saturn, Kaku, Lucci, the Gorosei members, even including Imu, they all have black Homoroga scarves because they are involved with bad intentions, bad emotions. Blackbeard is consistent of this nature, so whenever he gets his mythical Zoan, which is going to be the Goka fruit, it's going to have a black Homoroga scarf. It just ties in the whole ploy of how we see Luffy and Blackbeard being two sides of the same coin. So, as we already know, the Gum fruit, or the /Hito no Mi, it is able to bring imagination into reality. However, whenever it comes to Loki, eventually Blackbeard's fruit, it's going to be the complete opposite of that. This is also why I'm under the impression that the Yami no Mi was just a subclass of what we have with the Goka fruit. But don't get it wrong, what Vegapunk said is true. They also do derive off of dreams. But the dreams that they had, which were just suburbs of what we have with the devil fruits that we have within the story. Luffy is our representation of dreams, while Blackbeard is our representation of nightmares. This is why the Gorosei members were trying to recreate Nika's fruit. And this is why we have this possibility, which is through Bonnie and her fruit, because we know that they were trying to recreate Nika, and this is why we have Joy Girl back in Egghead. In the experiment of trying to make Nika's powers, they were really trying to get Goka's powers. And all this took was some